Do you sometimes feel stuck? This is the Healing Pendulum with your host, Kim De Boer. Working with the emotion code, Kim is here to assist you. The Healing Pendulum aims to support people to open their hearts through emotional transformations in order to bring more happiness and joy into their lives. So now, please welcome the host of the Healing Pendulum, Kim De Boer.
Welcome to the Healing Pendulum Show. I am your host, Kim De Boer, and we are coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. I am so excited for today's show, and I want to thank you for being here. And as we do on every show, the quote of the day is, "There are two ways to live your life. One, as if nothing is a miracle, and two, as if everything is a miracle." And that is a quote by Albert Einstein. And I really think that everything is a miracle, don't you? I mean, life is a miracle. So I thought it to be very appropriate for today's show. So today is the last Monday of the month, and I will be announcing the winner of the free health assessment. And I'll be announcing it in the last segment of the show. So if you signed up for my monthly health and happiness tips on my website, you could be the lucky winner. And I'll be announcing that at the end of the show, at the last segment of the show. And the purpose, I just want to go through this again with you. It's just the purpose of the Healing Pendulum show, and the reason that I am doing this is to bring more awareness to as many people as I can in this world that they have the power to take responsibility for their own health. And that there are just so many steps that can be taken to improve your health immensely, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it's about the knowing. It's about the knowing of how the body functions and getting to know what the body needs. As I've said so many times, your body is always communicating to you, and it will tell you when there's an imbalance that needs to be addressed. And what it's doing is it's giving you a warning sign or a warning signal that there is an imbalance in the body, and that you need to look after it now to prevent the disease and illness down the road. So if you listen to your body, say if you're getting headaches a lot or stomach aches, or you have an ache and a pain and it's just consistent, you really need to listen to that and, act accordingly. Go find out what the imbalance is. Find somebody who can help you with that. And guaranteed that you will achieve better health and more happiness today and in the years to come. We want to be a healthy elderly person. Well, I'm very excited today. We are going to be continuing the conversation and sharing the information on the circuits and systems of the body. And previously, we talked about the meridians, or the energy channels in the body. And on today's show, we're going to go deep into the chakras, or energy centers in the body. And we're going to teach you what the chakras are and how they affect our lives in so many ways, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I'm so excited to have Karen Heaps here today as a guest. And she has studied the chakras in deep depth and great depth. And, she will be sharing that information, her wisdom and knowledge of this shortly after the first break. And in the meantime, I'm just going to share how the modality that I use, the body code, works with the chakras. And it comes up quite often as an imbalance. And just a little bit about the chakras as well. And so some of you may know what a chakra is, and some of you may not. So there are 7 chakras that make up a powerful group of energy centers in the body. And chakra basically means wheel or disc. And there are 7 energy centers that emanate, from the center of the body. from the crown, so the top of the head, to the tailbone. And the chakras are very powerful sources or force centers in the body and of the energy field. And each chakra is believed to have an influence over an organ and a gland or in its vicinity. Now, Western medicine does not generally acknowledge the existence of the chakras, but we do know as energy healers, we do know that they can certainly become imbalanced, and we also know that that they result in imbalances in the body. And through the body code, what we find is the most common reason for a chakra imbalance is trapped emotions. And a balanced chakra should have an energy flow that is open and moving. And an imbalanced chakra is generally thought to be closed or blocked and wound up, and the movement of energy is kind of stagnated. So it does affect the rest of the body. Now, the way that we detect the imbalances in the body code is, they can be corrected by finding and removing, basically, as the body code presents itself, is like an underlying cause. There is always an underlying cause for an imbalance. And the most common cause of imbalances are trapped emotions. And the second most common chakra imbalances that we find in the body code is psychic traumas. And psychic traumas are a combination of 2 or 3 different emotions that are trapped in the body at the same time. And we find that sometimes there's actually no underlying cause at all that can be detected. So in this case, the chakra just needs to be And the way that we resetting a chakra is very important. And it's very important to correct the chakra imbalances because they have a lot to do with how we function in our life. For example, if the heart chakra is imbalanced, it's going to make it harder to feel joy. And having a heart wall, and I've talked about the heart wall in another one of my shows, will imbalance the heart chakra tremendously. And if the throat chakra is not in balance, that will usually be because you've been unwilling to speak out about something. And balancing the chakra will tend to make you more willing to speak out and to make yourself heard. So you can see how the effects of these imbalances in the chakras really do, affect our bodies and the rest of our bodies. And especially the crown chakra is one of the most important ones as it connects you with the energies of the universe. And that's just so important. We need to be connected to the universe. And so Karen Heaps is going to go really, really, really deep into the chakras. This is just a general description of them. And so she's going to be coming on after the break and really going deep into the chakras and teaching us more about them and how they connect to the rest of the body and how they affect us physically and emotionally. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the break with Karen Heaps, and we're going to go deep into the chakras. See you in a few minutes.
Attorney Renee Marie Smith is changing the way we sell real estate. She wrote a series of books called My Short Sale Guru Guides for all real estate practitioners. Whether you're a homeowner wanting to understand the process, an agent who has been handling short sales for years, or an industry analyst wanting to know how short sales impact your business, Renee uses her vast real estate experience to take a comprehensive look at the recent market phenomenon while relaying it in an easy-to-understand format. Through her company, Smith Title Services, Renee has counseled held thousands of short sale participants and processed in excess of 1,000 short sales. Her knowledge is transformational for real estate professionals and laymen alike, and her live presentations provide people the opportunity to ask specific questions about their issues. Buy her books and schedule her to speak at your next event. Visit www.smithtitleservices.com or call 305-705-3428 or email her at renee@smithtitleservices.com. Isn't it time to sell your property today? Learn the My Short Sale Guru way.
America is out of control. Today's capitalism and the approach to money is in fact the symptom of a more widespread pattern of excessive behavior. In his book, The Culture of Excess, How America Lost Self-Control and Why We Need to Redefine Success, clinical psychologist Dr. Jay Slosar portrays an America where excess fuels the drive to succeed. Dr. Slosar examines the cultural factors that lead to excess, ranging from obesity to fraud to pervasive budget deficits. His book examines the powerful economic and social factors and their impact on our psychological well-being. Dr. Slosar explores the psychological impact of increasing narcissism, perfectionism, self-destruction, and our identity confusion. He offers recommendations for helping Generation Me become Generation We. Those who resist Slosar's message will want to avoid his discussion of regulation and his recent message that at this point, democracy must be more important than today's capitalism. Get his book now online or by visiting thecultureofexcess.com.
Welcome back to the Healing Pendulum. I am your host, Kim De Boer, coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. And today we have a very special guest with joining us, and her name is Karen Heaps. And Karen teaches yoga with a healthy balance of Eastern philosophy and Western sensibility. She also teaches a yoga teachers program in Vancouver, BC, and facilitates chakra workshops internationally. She studied at a chakra yoga chakra yoga teacher with I'm just working on my pronunciation, and Anadea. Hope I got that right, Karen. Judith,
you did.
Both in California at the Noetic Science Institute and at the Kripalu Center, one of the largest holistic retreats in Lenox, Massachusetts. She has studied the chakra system both as a method for manifestation and for liberation. She sees the system as a methodology for measurement and direction. With strengthening and stretching postures, breath, and guided relaxation, her classes are designed as a gentle exploration of our physical potential and a gentle exploration of the influence our energies may have on our thoughts and how we lead our lives. She brings a lightness and a sense of joy and ease to her classes, and she emphasizes body awareness, self-acceptance, alignment, and safety. So welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you. Delightful to be here.
Yes, it's great. That's a great introductory. So it's wonderful. So let me ask you, so how did you get into all of this? How did you get into being a yoga teacher and teaching classes on the chakras?
Okay, well, it's a bit of a story. If you have a minute, I'll tell it to you.
Yes.
I had a year where I pretty well sort of everything, my pathway was cleared. I left my husband, my dog died, my house got broken into, and I know that all sounds terribly tragic and very sort of country and Western song, but it actually, although it was really hard and put me in survival mode for the moment, it also cleared the way for me to be open into new things. I had been in the film industry for 17 years, and my life was really kind of manic and crazy, and I'd had really no time to delve into myself at all. And losing all those three things in 1 year kind of just created this open space. And although I was in kind of survival mode, I used to take these long walks with my old dog before she passed and get into these sort of meditative kind of affirmation things. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of talking to myself and affirming things that I needed to reaffirm in myself in order to be able to survive that particular year that I was going through. And it just sort of came to me that I realized that nothing really works in isolation, that our energy really influences our physical reality. So, what happened was I was really, really broke that year. And I was sort of, as I said, I was really in survival mode. And all of a sudden, these things started to happen. Like, it was like magic. It was like the miracles you mentioned in your quote at the beginning. Checks would arrive from companies I worked for like 10 years ago that they closed off their life insurance policies, and they were sending me a dividend check and just stuff like that. And then although my house got broken into, I had insurance. So I got like a big insurance settlement, and that gave me money to live for the year. And I suddenly realized, it came to me that those affirmations were starting to manifest in physical reality. And at the same time, that particular year also, a friend came up to me and she said, I had never done yoga before. And a friend came up to me and she said, I found this I've started doing yoga, and I found this really fabulous teacher. Come and try it out. So I went, okay, I might as well. I wasn't really into things like yoga at the time, having been in the film industry for 17 years, which is like the other end of the spectrum. And I went with her to this yoga teacher, and I was just completely inspired. It just put me completely in spirit. This was like the missing link for me. And I started going, I was going once a week, and I was going twice a week, and I was going 3 times a week, and then sometimes I was going twice a day. And so that was the first thing. And then one time I was at that yoga class, and just as I was leaving the yoga class, I was in the cloakroom, and I started talking with this woman, started talking to me, and she ended up, she was a yoga, she taught people to become yoga teachers, and she had been the head of yoga teachers training at the Kripalu Institute in Massachusetts for 10 years, and was offering her first ever teaching in Vancouver. And I just happened to bump into her in the cloakroom. We started talking. She totally resonated with me completely, registered for her teachers training program, and the rest, as they say, is her story. It's just sort of, and then of course through that I got turned on to books came into my life. Well, she turned me on to one book, which was Yoga and the Quest for the True Self, which I highly recommend to anybody. It's written by Stephen Cope, who is the scholar in residence, and I think now he runs actually the Kripalu Institute. And then the other book I got that just sort of came to me, that I don't even know where these books came from. Somebody just would be talking about them in a cafe, and I'd overhear it, and it was, that kind of sort of magical thing that I really, or mysterious thing or energetic thing, was just seemed to be attracting it into my life. And the other one, which was absolutely life transforming for me, was The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dwyer, which I had already started to do those kind of things without realizing I was doing them. And this just reaffirmed them and gave me really pragmatic ways of continuing to do that. And that was the second book that really influenced my life. And then the third one was Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote a book about the biology of belief, which was all about how our energetic influences the physical body.
Yeah,
So then, go on.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that the universe really does give us what we need, like when we need it, if we're open to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and that's how come I became a yoga teacher.
Awesome. What a great story. That is a great story. And it's just, with the affirmations and positive statements that we repeat and repeat, the universe is listening, and we'll deliver if we ask.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
So we're going to a break. We're just going to a commercial break, and we will be right back with Karen Heaps and more on the chakras.
WikiWags brings harmony back into your home for male dogs and their owners. Inventor and entrepreneur Linda Jangula has created the disposable doggy diaper wraps made with the male dog in mind. The built-in wicking ability prevents rashing and other potential health issues for your dog. Each wrap comes in 4 sizes and has dual reattachable magic tabs for easy adjustments. And each size has a 7-inch logo strip for adjustability. So they are comfortable and easy to use. No more fuss, just leave the mess to us. Whether you're in or out, your dog will be free to run about. Stop cleaning and start enjoying your home, and you can even leave your dog alone. To order your WikiWags, visit wikiwags.com, or to find out where to buy WikiWags in your town, visit mywikiwags.com and start enjoying having man's best friend around.
For over 50 years, Evelyn Stapula has been a loving advocate for people with disabilities throughout the state of Pennsylvania. President and founder of Big Heart Bridges, her organization actively campaigns for legislation and support of civil liberties that meet the needs of disabled individuals with housing, transportation, and employment. Ms. Stapula has joined forces with a variety of esteemed organizations that advocate for the disabled. She serves on the board of the United Cerebral Palsy of Pittsburgh and the Governor's Cabinet and Advisory Committee for People with Disabilities, and she is a consultant for the Pennsylvania Governor's Conference for Women. Her many efforts have led to the implementation of a transportation program for the disabled with the Access Paratransit System of Allegheny County. Evelyn Stapula strives daily to serve the interests of the disabled, to protect their freedoms, and enable them to live normal public lifestyles. To learn more, please call 412-491-2605 or email Evelyn at ers92645@verizon.net.
Welcome back to the Healing Pendulum Show. I am your host, Kim De Boer, and I have Karen Heaps with us today. And we are coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. And so what a great story, Karen. So you got interested in yoga and the chakras and read some great books. And so what made you get more curious about the chakras?
Well, I realized, so as you said, I kind of got into yoga first before I got into the chakras. And I realized that really nothing works in isolation. You know, when we're, I sort of started noticing and becoming more aware of my own body and how it works and where it holds. And it really made me curious about the physical and the energetic correlation, you know, and I realized that nothing works in isolation, you know, and so when I was stretching, or for instance, like now when I teach, it started in my own body, and now this is how I teach my classes. It's like when we're stretching at the beginning of a yoga class, we're not only lengthening our muscle and the soft connective tissue, but we're also declogging the energetic channels, the nadis, and they're the sort of meridians of yoga, and there's 72,000 of them in the yoga body. And the Sushumna, the main one, which goes up the length of the spine, actually past the top of the spine, right up into the crown of the head, is the main river that connects all the chakras. And I just started to become curious about how that really, how it all works together, physical and energetic. And yeah, that's really sort of how it began. And I just realized, for instance, you know, in my learning, then it got me into the chakras, and I realized that they were really the sort of energetic architecture of our body, that they were this subtle, there's this whole universe that lives underneath our physical body, which is our subtle energy body. And what a profound role it has in the understanding of the mind and the body energy interface, and how the chakras interconnect and how they work together. And I just, after studying with Anodea, I just realized that how integrating and interpenetrating they are, and how interconnected and what a dynamic system they are all. And how totally different we all are, and how all our energy systems have its own unique flavor and its own unique flow. Definitely. And then, of course, getting deeper. Sorry, Kim?
Oh, I just said definitely. We all have our own, you know, same system, but different energy, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we all have our own external influences, our own internal influences, how our bodies work, how our minds work, all influences the way our chakras interrelate and how they flow. And I learned that the chakras flow in three directions, really. They flow up and back down. And a balance system really needs to flow up with the same energy as it flows back down. And then there's the third energy, is how we relate to the world around us, how our energy connects to the people in the world around us. So it sort of puts a whole new meaning on pushing somebody else's buttons, right? Because like sort of my power chakra, for instance, will connect with your power chakra, but it might not. We have different balances and different accents in those particular parts of our body and those particular energetic centers, and so it will influence the way we connect with each other.
Right.
It's pretty interesting, and I can go through all the chakras and tell you how that works.
Yes. So tell us more about how that whole system works, and how it relates to or connects to our glands and other things in our body.
Okay, so the 7 basic chakras, which you already mentioned, are from the root up until the crown. So the root chakra is called the Muladhara, which means our own root support. How we each chakra has an identity, a purpose, and a right. So I think I'll go through that first and then tell you the glands that they're associated with.
Okay.
So the root chakra is the Muladhara, and it means our own root support. It's our physical identity. It's our right to be here and to have. And the purpose of it is self-preservation. The element is earth, so it's the densest of ones. It's concerned with our homes, our security, our finances, how we hold on to that wealth or how we do not, how it flows through the pockets, how we... for instance, so I'll just keep it there for now. And then the second chakra is the Svadhisthana, which is our emotional identity. Svadhisthana means our own sweet abode. So it means where we feel like we deserve the pleasures in our life. It is our right to feel, and the function is self-gratification. In other words, like we want to feel that we deserve those pleasures that life has to offer. It's our emotional identity. Water is the element of that one. So it's very fluid, very fluent, you just want it to flow and be fluent and gentle, like a wave washing in and washing out. Then the third chakra, the Manipura, it's kind of the chairman or the chairperson of the board. It's our ego identity. It's our right to do. And it is our self-definition. That is its purpose, how we define ourselves. The element is fire. And when I get into the endocrine system, that will be really interesting also. But I'm going to just go through this how it this particular defining way at the moment. Mm-hmm. And then up into the heart, we get into the heart, and the heart is called the Anahata. And the translation of Anahata means the sound made without two things striking. And the way I visualize that that translation is, those old-fashioned scales where you have two pans on either side. And if there is equal weight in those two pans, they just stand in perfect balance. There's complete stillness. One doesn't pull to the other one. They're not out of balance. They're in perfect balance. The heart chakra is all about balance, self-acceptance, and our social identity, how we relate to other people in the world in which we live. It's also the balance. There are 3 chakras below it and 3 chakras above. So it's balanced from that point of view as well. And then we get up into the 5th chakra, the Vishuddha, which is our, the translation of Vishuddha is purification, which is really interesting because the right for this one is our right to speak. So really about speaking our truth, feeling free to express. It's our creative identity, and it's our right to talk. And then the 6th chakra is our right to see, and it's ajna. It's about allowing light into the brain and our self-reflection and our archetypal identity, how we see ourselves over the generations, over the thousands of years that we've lived before. And the 7th chakra is the universal chakra, our right to know, the Sahasrara. which means 1,000 folds, and in the Hindu philosophy, ones and zeros signify infinity. So it is our universal infinity identity, our right to self-knowledge. And
okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, that's great. We have to go to break, so don't go away. We'll be right back with Karen Heaps and more on the chakras.
Certified professional coach Pamela Reeves can help you with your relationships. Motivational and image coaching are just some of the ways she can help you enhance all aspects of your life. Her book, Is It Love or Merely a Sick Attachment?, helps readers clearly distinguish healthy, loving relationships from toxic ones. Ms. Reeves has put her words into action through Ray of Hope Kenya, an international initiative that provides outreach to victims of abusive relationships there with the goal of helping them rebuild their lives and the tools to avoid abuse. Ms. Reeves operates various business interests through her umbrella network, Nella LLC, and credits her success to her diverse work experience. Whatever your goals, whether striking a balance, reinventing your image, or simply lifting your lifestyle, Pamela Reeves will help you achieve them. Your life, your call. Dial 410-902-5715 or email Pamela at pamreg01@verizon.net. She's also on the web at pamreeves.com and on Twitter at Pamela_Reeves.
Renaissance woman, trailblazer, maverick. Those are just some of the words to describe Tashandra Poulard, owner and CEO of House of Virgo Entertainment, LLC, a woman minority veteran-owned entertainment company based in Washington, D.C. Ms. Poulard served 10 years honorably in the United States Navy and departed from active duty to pursue her dreams of becoming an entertainment mogul. House of Virgo Entertainment offers script writing, producing, directing, DJ services, editing, and more. They cater to businesses, corporations, college students, working professionals, aspiring artists, and nonprofit organizations, and employ veterans of the armed forces. Tashandra Poulard is pioneering the way we view media and taking her brand global. Visit her at www.houseofvirgoentertainment.com or call 281-515-3740 and like her on Facebook at House of Virgo Entertainment, LLC.
Welcome back to the Healing Pendulum Show. I am your host, Kim De Boer, and we have Karen Heaps with us today. And we are coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. Now, just before the break, Karen, you were talking about the elements and the right purpose and the Sanskrit names for the chakras. And my understanding is that there is also a gland that's related to each chakra. Could you tell us more about that?
Sure, I'd be delighted to. I find it really interesting. This is one of the most interesting things about this, that thousands of years ago, when these yogis were developing or discovering or channeling the information about the chakras, they realized that each of these chakras had a particular function. And then thousands of years later, fast forward to modern medicine and the endocrine system, that the Western medicine that has been developed recently, or relatively recently, talks about glands. And the glands that exist in the major glandular system, the endocrine system, correlate with the functions of the energetic functions of the chakras. So in the first chakra, the root chakra, it's our physical identity. Well, the glands that are down there are the reproductive organs. Well, where would we be without the reproductive organs? We wouldn't be here. And the right is our right to be here. That is the right of the first chakra. So that correlates with the reproductive organs. Also with the adrenal glands, because they're psychic centers, the adrenal glands and the reproductive organs are very close together. So some people say that some interpretations are that the adrenal glands are correlated with the first chakra, and some people say the reproductive organs. I would say that both the adrenal glands and the reproductive organs are correlated with the first chakra. The adrenal glands is fight or flight, so our right to be here, to stand our ground, to stand on solid ground, not to be threatened anywhere. The adrenal glands are what kick in when you get threatened, that fight or flight. Then I would take the reproductive organs back into the second chakra, which is our right to pleasure. So I need to say no more. The sexual organs, right? So I would take that more. So they kind of fluctuate between the first and the second chakra. But the adrenal glands and the reproductive organs definitely around the first chakra, then the reproductive organs as well into the second chakra. The third chakra, which is our right to do, and also where the diaphragm is that pumps the lung, fire is the element in there. It also is where our pancreas is, and our pancreas is what, takes our food and creates it into energy. So that's the combustion. That's like the furnace. That's where the fire happens. That's where the diaphragm, which is the pump that pumps the lungs. Without the diaphragm, the lungs would just be like big brown paper bags. The diaphragm is like an accordion that expands and contracts and pumps the lungs. So it creates that combustion, creates the heat, creates the energy, just like the pancreas does. So I just get, completely passionate about this because it just blows my mind, really. And then
I think it's great.
And then we get into the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, which is all about balance and self-acceptance. So when we're feeling balanced and we accept ourselves and the heart is calm and relaxed, it enhances our immune system. Well, guess what gland is around the heart? The thymus gland. The thymus gland is what helps to regulate our immune system. So it just goes on. And then we get into the fifth chakra, which is in the throat. The fifth chakra is the word, the English translation of the Vishuddha, which is the fifth chakra, is purification. And speaking our truth, bringing our words out. Well, what the gland is that's in the throat area is the thyroid gland. Well, what does the thyroid gland? It helps to purify the blood. So, those things just totally correlate. Then you get up into the sixth chakra, which is about sight, about insight and how we view the world. It's our archetypal identities, how we see ourselves in those archetypal senses, generationally, ancestrally, whether we see ourselves as wife or warrior, whatever it is. And the gland associated with the sixth chakra is the pineal gland. Well, what does the pineal gland do? It lets light into the brain so we can see, our right to see. The pineal gland, sixth chakra. Then we get into the seventh chakra, which is the Sahasrara, which is the universal. It's kind of like the head guy at the top there. That's the all-pervasive, all-viewing, all-being part of ourselves. And the gland associated with the seventh chakra is the pituitary gland. Well, the pituitary gland is the master gland. It's the gland that controls and regulates all the hormones that feed the rest of the endocrine system. So that I find, so that's kind of how the glands correlate with the ancient definition of the chakras. And I just find that absolutely fascinating and just, again, reaffirming how nothing works in isolation. Everything works both physically and energetically side by side.
Yes, totally. I mean, everything works together. And, when there's one system that is imbalanced, or say if there's one chakra that's imbalanced, does that cause imbalances in the other chakras as well?
Absolutely. It's a system. It's like a family system. It's like if you have a family member that takes on too much, then somebody else is going to take on too little. If you have a family member that is attracting more attention, it's going to detract attention from others. So absolutely, the chakras are a system that attracts balance in order to function in a balanced way. So in other words, if you have, let's go into the first chakra, for instance, the root chakra, our physical our self-preservation, our physical being. So it's concerned with all those things like security and possessions and home and all those things that I mentioned before. Well, somebody that's got an overactive root chakra will be, for instance, like a hoarder or will hold on to things. Somebody that has an underactive first chakra won't be able to hold on to anything. Money will just flow through their pockets. And then, of course, it will affect what they feel like they deserve into the second chakra.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah, haven't we all?
Yeah,
haven't we all? Yeah.
Yeah. So I find this very, very interesting, and I hope that the listeners do as well. I'm sure they do. And so, like, don't go away. We have so much more to tell, and we're going to be talking. Karen's going to be sharing her wisdom and knowledge on manifestation and liberation, and how that moves through the chakras and affects the chakras. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Karen Heaps after the break.
Psychologist, master certified coach, and CEO of the executive and organizational development firm True North Leadership, Dr. Relly Nadler brings his expertise in emotional intelligence to Keynotes Consulting, coaching, and training. He is the author of Leader's Playbook and Leading with Emotional Intelligence that lays out tips and tools for effective leadership. Dr. Nadler has designed multi-day executive boot camps for high achievers in Fortune 500 companies and has coached CEOs, presidents, and their staff, and developed and delivered innovative leadership programs for such organizations as Anheuser-Busch, BMW, MCI, EDS, DreamWorks Animation, the U.S. Navy, and Vanguard Health Systems. To learn more and get your free iPhone app highlighting his tools with videos, leadership keys, visit www.truenorthleadership.com today.
Joseph A. Moylan is the owner of Ion Health, which specializes in very unique medical devices. Ion Health offers biomats, alkalife, and frequency machines. Biomats are a far infrared and negative ion emitting FDA-approved medical device. With many different sizes available, you can place them on your bed, on a massage table, or on a seat in your car. It is an unobtrusive way to health. Alkalife machines are water ionizers that cleanse and raise the alkalinity of your tap water, making high alkaline water. Frequency machines utilize certain frequencies to kill viruses and bacteria. These devices are safe and effective. Coming from a health-conscious background and studying physiology at the Academy of Natural Health, Joseph A. Moylan has 15 years of experience in the health field and wants to help you live a healthy, long life. Visit www.ionhealthbiomats.weebly.com or call 765-520-2988. Don't let your health go astray. Get in touch today.
Welcome back. I am your host, Kim De Boer, and I have Karen Heaps here today talking about the chakras. And we are on the Healing Pendulum show, coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. So I just find this all so fascinating, Karen. And now, in this segment, we're going to talk about how the energy moves through the chakras and affects them. And
Okay.
Can you tell us more about how that works?
Absolutely. Well, I mentioned before how the chakra moves in three directions, up and down, and horizontally, how we relate to the world around us. So when we're moving, and a balanced chakra system is one that moves up and down in a balanced fashion. So the journey up is more to liberation, and the journey back down is into manifestation. So I like to say that the journey up is more a state of being, and the journey back down is more a state of doing. So I'm going to go through the chakras with different definitions now. For instance, okay, so the definition, or not definitions, but different characteristics. So when we're journeying to liberation, I'll go through go from 1 to 7, being the first to the 7th chakra. So when we're journeying up to liberation, the association with the first chakra would be matter. The association with the second chakra will be movement. That's water, the flow. The third chakra, with the dynamic sort of ego identity, would be energy. The fourth chakra, the heart, would be love. The fifth chakra, the Vishuddha in the throat, would be creativity. Our sixth chakra in the brow would be insight. And the seventh chakra at the top would be understanding. If you're coming back down the chakras, so moving up is more a way of being. Moving back down is more a state of doing. Or moving up, I should say, is more a state of being. And moving down is more a way of doing. So it's a denser kind of energy. So I'm going to start at the top. So the top is like having an idea. Then you have a vision, and I'll elaborate on this in a minute. The top is so you have the idea. The sixth chakra in your brow is you have a vision. The third the chakra in the throat is you communicate that idea. The chakra at the heart is you create relationships around that vision. The third chakra in the in the diaphragm area is your will and your purpose. The second chakra, which is our emotion, is your passion, and then the first chakra will be completion. So think of it like you're trying to build a house. So if you're trying to build a house, you've got that idea. That's up in the seventh chakra. Then you've got the vision, what that house will look like, where you're going to build it, what your plot of land looks like. Then the chakra in the throat is like, okay, then you start to communicate that idea. It becomes reality. You start to tell people, I'm going to build this house. I need to go out and find the people I need. And then the heart chakra brings you into relationship. You start to create the dream team. You start to create the people around you who need to manifest that dream. Or don't forget, we're into the journey down into manifestation. Then you get down into that third chakra, and that's your will. That's your purpose. That's you. You're going to stick with this. Where you're going. And then you get down into your commitment to the project. And then you get down into the passion, into the second chakra, our emotional identity, the passion you have for that, what's going to make it happen, and the excitement around it, and the excitement around it. And then, of course, then you get down into the first chakra, where it becomes matter, where it becomes completed. So that's the manifestation. So I always like to say that the journey up is more a kind of the spirit guiding us, whereas when we're coming back down, it's the ego driving us, which are fine. Ego, there's nothing bad about ego-driven, long as it's balanced with spirit. And so ego and spirit balanced, journey up to liberation and manifestation balanced, will and purpose and ego balanced. It's all about balance. It's all about even Steven, that there's no less focus on the journey to liberation and enlightening our mind than there is to wanting to make a dream come true. Both of those are totally valid and work together. And again, it just shows, it just again is another reaffirmation how nothing works in isolation. You have to have a balance in both that sort of open vision to becoming a more complete human being, and then and when you think about it too, I mean, if you become more complete and more whole, you become more balanced. And when you become more balanced, going back to that first chakra root, if it's not out of balance, you can't hold onto anything. And if it's overactive, you're holding on to too much, and you're stingy, and you won't let things go, and you hold things really close in, and you hoard, And if those things are all in balance in that journey up to liberation, then you can come back down and start to manifest stuff in balance.
So it really is all about balance, and it's all about flow as well, right?
Yes,
so everything kind of needs to flow. So
it has to flow.
Another thing was what happens between two people? Like, how is that flow, or how does that energy move? Like, say between you and me, how does that work?
Well, it depends if again, it's just on balance of chakras. Like people that become really good friends and have can connect, because, for instance, like my heart will be open to your heart. I will be compassionate towards you. I will have a sense of who you are, and there's balance in that area. If there's imbalance, I think mostly imbalance. Well, imbalance happens really with any chakra in between two people, but I'll go into mostly the third and the fourth chakra, which is the third chakra is the power chakra. So that's our ego identity, our right to do and our right to do, and how we define ourselves. And I think if one gets really stuck in one's own self-definition, it closes us off. That's what imbalance does anywhere. It shuts down. It doesn't give you that freedom to open up to relationship or to anything. And I mean, you asked about in between two people, and it works in between two people as much as it does work within yourself. So, say on a very simplistic level, if you and I got together and we got stuck in something I wanted to do and you got stuck in something you wanted to do, there's no way that's going to happen. We have to ease it up into the heart and start to balance it around.
Okay. Well, Karen, you know what? We're running out of time together and we could just go on forever and ever.
We could.
I
We
love this
could. I've got so
conversation.
much more I could say.
I know. Well, we'll have to have you on the show again. But so how can people get in touch with you if they want to, learn more about the chakras or just, connect with you?
Okay. Well, my email is probably the best way, which is Karen Heaps, HEAP for Peter, S for sugar, at shaw.ca. I do have exercises that I can recommend to enhance or balance your chakras, to help balance them. I also work with the PEMF mat. It's a physical, energetic pulsed electromagnetic field mat, which works on the Schumann wave, which is a wave that brings our cells into perfect resonance with the same energy that the earth puts out. When our cells and our body is in perfect balance, it should be resonating at the same resonance that the earth resonates at. Our brain as well should be resonating at that too.
Okay, that's great. You know what? Well, we should have you on the show again, and we'll talk strictly on the mats because that is a huge subject as well. So I want to thank you very, very much for being on the show today, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much, Karen.
Dr. Rob Moyer is the director of the Ocean River Institute, and he is passionate about saving the ocean by helping dolphins suffering from nitrogen pollution. Nitrogen is a dangerous pollutant affecting our oceans, altering ocean ecosystems, and contributing to global warming. The Ocean River Institute provides opportunities to make a difference and encourages people to go the distance for savvy stewardship of a greater and bluer planet Earth. Partnered with organizations from Massachusetts to Florida, Alaska to the Caribbean, the Ocean River Institute's mission is to foster involvement in conservation and environmental monitoring by facilitating grassroots efforts at local and regional levels.
Hello, I'm Rob Moyer of the Ocean River Institute. Please visit our website at oceanriver.org. Sign up for free e-alerts. You may call us at 617-661-6647. Our email address is info@oceanriver. Become informed and then act with us. Thank you.
MJ Dammit is the owner of Expect to be Empowered, a company whose specialty is empowering people to live their best life by following their heart and accepting themselves unconditionally. After studying and making personal changes, MJ now focuses on giving others tools for self-empowerment. She provides individual and group workshops for people who are physically, emotionally, and spiritually blocked. Inspired by her work at Expect to be Empowered, MJ authored the book Waves of Blue Light, Heal the Heart and Free the Soul, with accompanying empowerment cards. She is a Spirit Book of the Year Gold Medal Living Now Book Award winner. And her book is a #1 Amazon bestseller in spirituality and was a 2012 Gold Medal winner, recognized as the Living Now Spirit Book of the Year. An inspirational speaker, MJ will show you how you can repurpose every area of your life. Your life did not just happen to you. You chose it, which means you can change it. Visit www.expecttobeempowered.com or call 866-264-8024.
Welcome back to the Healing Pendulum Show. I am your host, Kim De Boer, coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. And wow, I thought that was amazing. I thought I knew quite a bit about the chakras, but now I just know so much more. And just really, really great information. And a huge heartfelt thank you to Karen Heaps for sharing her wisdom and knowledge with us today. And please contact her. Please contact Karen at Karen, Karen, Heaps, HEAPS, at Shaw, SHAW.ca. I'm sure that she would love to hear from you. And she does have some great exercises to help you balance your chakras at home. So contact her. Now, I want to thank, it's the last Monday of the month, and I have a giveaway. For those of you, I want to thank you for signing up for the Healing Pendulum monthly health and happiness tips. And when you signed up for these tips, you were automatically entered into a draw to win a complimentary health assessment with me, which is a value of $97. So the lucky winner for this month's health assessment is Gerald, and I don't have his last name, but it's Gerald, and he is from Gelderland in the Netherlands. So that's awesome. And the beauty of the work that I do is I can do it anywhere, over the phone, on Skype. So, it can be done anywhere in the world. So I want to congratulate Gerald, and I will be contacting you to set up time for the health assessment. So I do want to encourage you to go to my website, which is www.thehealingpendulum.com, and sign up to receive my monthly health and happiness tips, and you will automatically be entered for a chance to win a health assessment with me. And that is a value of, as I said, of $97, and it'll give you more knowledge about where your health is at this moment and what we need to do to get it back and to be optimal. And I'm very pleased to announce that I have a really, really great guest coming next week to the show. And we're continuing the conversation on the circuits and systems. And my next guest is Dr. Avtar Jassal. And he is a chiropractor who uses the torque release system. And he uses a system and he specializes in working with children with autism. And as we know, this is a huge concern in this world today. So join me next week for Dr. Jassal. And remember that you have the power within you to take responsibility for your health, wealth, and happiness.
You've been listening to The Healing Pendulum with Kim De Boer. If something has happened in your past that's caused you to hold on unconsciously to negative emotions, then this is the place for you. Each week on The Healing Pendulum with Kim De Boer.
You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.
What will you do with an extra $300? Throw a pizza party? Visit the dollar store 300 times? Get started by opening a TD Unlimited checking account, and you could get an extra $300 to get more of what you love. Visit TD.com/300. TD, ready for you. Conditions apply. Offer ends September 13th, 2018.